Hello, nobody. 'Cause no one's here yet. But yeah. So I put in hair dye a while ago, and I don't need to be anywhere for 2 hours, and I need to not lie in bed and do nothing. So I thought, you know what? I should do a YouTube. Why not? I mean, it looks kind of weird, but whatever. You can see it's like a very dark blue. I think it'll be really bright. Okay. Also, you can see that Squeaky has appropriated Momo's bed, which the whole reason Momo's food is in there is so that she can defend it from Squeaky. And then, look at this. And Momo just, stays outside the bedroom whining at me. All right. So, oh, wait. Sorry, I just need to plug in my phone before we get going. You also might be like, Benji, why are you dressed like this? Because hair dye. That's why I'm dressed like this. Okay. So, we are starting at chapter 7. I think it was around page 30. Let's see. That was page 6. Yeah, chapter 6. We did chapter 6. Here we go. Squeaky, no! It's not yours. Ugh. It's like a constant war with the cats, but who gets to eat whose food? Okay. Chapter 7. Not that gestures don't have their power. What is that gazillion dollar endeavor of advertising, or politics, or activism, or art, but an almost religious manipulation of images? Just before Lent started, I got some 2x4s and built an enormous catechus in the living room to explore my own concerns about lesbian bodies. Barbed wire snaked up the form instead of a reptile, and the double arms of the cross hinted at abstract wings. I hung relics here and there, used lacquered tampons and test tubes filled with toe jam, fingernails, chunks of hair, or my own mysterious blood that doctors grabbed, sometimes hoping to cure my mysterious fevers, later my tangled guts. The treadmill came mail order, maybe from Amy's credit card points, and every day during Lent I walked it. I walked in front of the catechist for as long as I could stand it, sometimes 2 or 3 hours, sometimes more, but never until I dropped. I called the performance Surviving Salvation, got blisters and bruises on my heels, new aches, fevers, and nightmares, and a case of boredom so profound I could have died of it. Could you enable automatic subtitles for your videos, please? Yes, I can definitely do that. I don't know how. I will find out how to do that. Because somebody was live streaming yesterday and they had automatic subtitles. I think it was Benjamin Boyser. Yeah, someone was live streaming yesterday and they had that, and I was like, oh shit, I should get that, and then I forgot. Okay. Okay, except my pen just died. So once I'm streaming, I can't really do anything with settings. I can't even do anything with my mic. I'm like, it's on and it's on. So I'll do it for next time. Today's stream should be pretty short though, like an hour and a half. No, an hour at most, really. Okay. Okay. On Sundays, visitors were encouraged but not essential. I wore a hospital gown with my ass hanging out and made guests put on those surgical latex gloves with talcum inside to make them feel complicit with the stern and snickering gods of the medical establishment. I only invited Avengers, tossing a few postcards in the center of the room at the end of meetings when people made announcements. Okay, the lesbian Avengers were all women, and then she does this thing that I do, which I've been trying to not do. She calls them people instead of women. She generalizes. Why? Because men have inherent womanhood, and they must be and men have inherent personhood, and they must be included in the group that has persons. I think we automatically do this without realizing it. If she was only inviting women, she could say, I gave it to the women, but instead she says, I gave it to the people. She's probably not even aware that's why she's doing it. Anyway. Some came and wrote comments in the comment book. One woman asked me if I prayed. Another picked a fight about alternative medicine and said I could be perfectly healthy if I only wanted. Quote, try this for a fever, try that for joints, you should meditate, end quote. Some freaked out at the enormous cross like thing. Others were disturbed that I chatted while I walked in front of it as if I were a hostess. Sue Friedrich videoed for a little while, though there wasn't much to shoot. I was pretty much just walking in place without emotion or anything. It was cold, so I didn't even sweat. I didn't realize she was a real filmmaker until later. Nobody in the Avengers waved their creds. She was just this long haired woman who kept the books and had a cranky New York sense of humor, a blunt naivete. Jennifer came and draped Guatemalan amulets on the barbed wire. Fire eating friends turned up one day bringing beer and smoking cigarettes in the dusty hallway because it was banned in our apartment. I joined them for a while, leaving the treadmill running, and considered counting the movements in absentia. But I couldn't make myself do it, and went back in, climbed on, and walked. I didn't mind when they called me a wuss. It was something to write down in my notebook. Sarah Schulman came too, and in her abrupt way asked if I'd shaved my head to make myself look sicker. Quote unquote, I'm not sorry for you. Good, I said, that's not the point. Though if she'd wanted to pat me on the head and buy a round, I would have drunk it, no problem. The shaving was mostly to signal the end of one thing and the beginning of another, or at least induce a moment of contemplation. I like that, the end of one thing and oh, hey gender mapper, hey Alex. Uh it's cool that you're here. Um this the shaving was mostly a signal was a, the shaving was mostly to signal the end of one thing and the beginning of another, or at least induce a moment of contemplation. When I shaved my head, when I stopped being a trans man and started being a lesbian, that's what it was. It was like a moment of transformation. Like, I don't know. I haven't done much like talking with women or, really lesbians about shaving their heads and like the emotional and like metaphysical properties that experience has. But I know for me it was like it really was like transformative in a way. Anyway, I just like the way she phrased that. Like she's a poet, right? So even if she uses some queer language once in a while, I really like her writing voice and her yeah. I'm enjoying the book. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry. In Nepal, that's what you do when a relative dies. I'd done a whole unscheduled shaving performance at NYU when I figured out that most of grad school was about taking whatever was natural and true and stuffing it into inescapable language and appropriate official forms. Pretty much like when my mother tried to stuff me into the shape of a proper girl. It was infuriating. What was the point of thinking things and trying to know things if you were only going to communicate them to people just like you? Maybe they didn't notice the gap. Those other students of the academic